this. We just spoke with a former student, Alexa Medic. She actually walked down the hall with the accused shooter, Nicholas Cruz, after she heard shots fired. She said, "Hey, Nicholas," this is what she told me on camera. We will have it for our 10 o'clock show. She said, "Hey, I just heard shots fired. I'm surprised it wasn't you." Just kidding, like that. He had this reaction, "What?" And then they parted ways. She said, "I heard more shots after that." She thinks there was a second shooter. That's the first we've heard of that, but she believes there was actually a second shooter.
You said there were two shooters?
Yeah, at least two, definitely. Nicholas Cruz apparently was shot and killed.
You can see right now we've got personnel coming out of that, and they're loading up on the back of this pickup truck here. But let's see who we've got there. Yeah, those are some SWAT members and some other folks right there. So as we overuse that expression, and very active scene here, we're going to go off mic again and try to get you guys a little bit more information. We'll be back shortly.
After the SWAT team called me and asked if I knew where my son Nicholas was. And I said, "He's not my son, but I don't know where he's at." And at that point, I got in touch with my son, who was fleeing the scene at that point. And a description came out, and we put two and two together, me and my son, and we figured out what was happening. Called me and asked if I knew where my son Nicholas was. And I said, "He's not my son, but I don't know where he's at."
Well, this is very much still ongoing. At the moment, we have a white male, we're told, wearing a burgundy shirt, who is still at large.
Subject wearing a black hat, maroon in color, JROTC collared shirt, and black pants. Hey, where's the front entrance to the school? Right.
Man, I'm trying to think of that kid's name.
Traffic, 1033 only.
No.
They've got the guy already.
You get back to whether they're students, teachers, mixture of
It's a mixture. I don't know if there are any teachers, but there will be, there's certainly students and certainly adults. Nicholas, I think we spell his name Nikolas, Cruz, was the killer.
Where are you guys processing the scene?
There are some bodies that are still in the school. There's a medical. Right now, the focus of the FBI and the Broward Sheriff's Office is on the successful prosecution of this killer, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned.
How he entered the building, how he got in.
We will speak about that. We do know about that, and at our next press conference, as I said, I will take the media through a timeline and talk about through videotapes. We'll match up video with real-time information with things we know, and we'll disseminate that. So I wanted to start out by telling you an Uber car dropped off the suspect at 2019 yesterday, 2:19 p.m. at Stoneman Douglas High School. The suspect entered the east stairwell, that's building 12, with a rifle inside a black, soft case.
7 Kilo 1. Subject was dropped off by an Uber on the east side of the school. Entered the school with a backpack, believed to be also a long rifle, handgun.
The suspect exited the stairwell, pulled the rifle out of the case. At 2:21 hours and 33 seconds, the suspect readied his rifle and began shooting into rooms 1215, 1216, 1214. He went back to 1216, back to 1215, and then to 1213. The suspect then took the west stairwell to the second floor and shot one victim in room 1234 on the second floor. The suspect then took the east stairwell to the third floor.
No, Scott, we do not. We're still trying. The last thing we see is he's still on the third floor. But again, that's still 227. Keep it cool. Keep it rolling. See if he left the third floor. Mr. Greeley's trying. We're trying to get him.
He dropped his rifle and backpack, ran down the stairs.
Going back down toward the second floor.
No, not that I know of.
Kilo 1, the subject is now back down on the second floor. He was on the third, back on the second floor now of the 1200 building.
He exited building 12.
Can you be focused? Tell me if he exited the building. The west stairs, he didn't pick off front.
The west stairs, and he came down.
Running outside of the building? 10-4.
He came outside of the building and dropped his bag.
When did he go on the east side or the west side? 20 minutes ago is what we're showing the camera. He exited the school.
Multiple gunshots are being fired. We can hear them in the background. Our 911 lines are blowing up. We have multiple units on the phone. Some are giving EMD. It is confirmed.
7 Kilo 1, they have the subject exiting the school about 20 minutes ago. Stand by for further. He dropped the bag near the stairwell. Stand by for further.
They said he ran out to the south towards the canal.
According to the school officials in the video, he possibly may have mixed in with the kids in a westbound direction towards Wesley. According to the school officials in the video, he possibly may have mixed in with the kids in a westbound direction towards Wesley. School officials in the video, he possibly may have mixed in with the kids in a westbound direction towards Wesley.
On that, but I don't know that he had a mask on at any time.
He does pause momentarily, appears to be taking things out of a backpack that he does not take with him before continuing. Now the suspect at this point drops a backpack that they were carrying, removes several items including a camouflage shirt and a ski mask. He does not put either of these items on. Now the suspect at this point drops a backpack that they were carrying, removes several items including a camouflage shirt and a ski mask. He does not put either of these items on.
And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor.
They are monitoring the subject right now. He went from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor. 3rd to the 2nd floor. He may have a gas mask on now. Stand by for further. They're monitoring him on camera.
19-year-old young man with trouble. Ryan, Chris. I didn't know that at the time because he had a mask on, so I didn't know who it was. I didn't know that at the time because he had a mask on, so I didn't know who it was.
He walked in into the gate. He walked into the school, and I don't know that anybody recognized him or knew who he was. Or
called my security guard guy who's in the 1200 building, and I said, Coach Taylor got a suspicious subject on campus. got a black bag on in his hands. Keep your eyes open because I think he's going into your building.
Oh my God!
I don't think there was anybody killed. Unless they're holding that information. I was hearing everything that was going on. Yeah. I don't even know that he was, using a gun. I mean, he might have been using a pellet gun or something.
I know a few of the people that are supposedly dead. I know a few of the people that are supposedly dead. I know a few of the people that are supposedly dead.
My left, which is the west side of the hallway, you'll see that another victim has entered the 1200 building. The suspect immediately sights in on this victim and fires several rounds, striking the victim who is injured. That victim then is able to take cover. As he passes the previously injured victim, he fires additional rounds, and those wounds are fatal.
I saw him with a gun, and then I saw two people fall, and then I saw Mr. Feist fall, and he said, "Get back inside."
I did see him from where I was. He was running towards the gunshots, and I did have a friend that he said he saw him shield 3 people from the gunshots, and he did take 3 bullets to the body.
Fires additional rounds, and those wounds are fatal.
Would they also have seen Coach Feist, or they did? So they can see the things like in that back area.
Yes, ma'am. That area between buildings 12 and 13, it's very open. When we went there, there's a bunch of fences up, and it obscures your view. Prior to this, or at this moment, it's very open. You've got a good range of vision. There was immediately, and we'll get to it, I believe, but people immediately go to Coach Feist and assess him. Special Agent Masucci, he's going to get a little more into the medical response, but yes, ma'am, Coach Feist was visible and evaluated.
Thank you.
Yes,
they passed him because they immediately determined he was deceased. And then they went in and then they pulled Coach Hickson out, put him on the golf cart, and immediately came out. So they bypassed him and went in and pulled Hickson out.
The reports as well is that the coach stopped bullets from hitting some of the students. I don't know if that's 100% true, and if it is, and you tell me it is. But we don't know his condition at this point. It seemed to me that you just kind of led a little bit that he may have passed. Is that what you're hearing as well? And I don't want to assume anything.
Absolutely. I do believe he did pass. I heard that this morning. I've seen a couple of news reports from other news stations, but I've also heard a little bit from my football coach.
one certain security guard and an assistant football coach at this school. You may have heard this story already, but this is a guy who actually confronted the shooter. He shielded other students and took a number of bullets, and ultimately this morning we've learned that coach has died.
The suspect then took the east stairwell to the 3rd floor. He dropped his rifle and backpack, ran down the stairs. He exited building 12.
So they advanced to the 3rd floor.
I look down, I'm standing on top of the rifle. His rifle's there, his vest is there.
Coach Feist went in the building and went to go up one of the stairwells, and as the shooter was coming down the stairwell, and I understood that he took a girl and kind of pushed her out of the door and got in front of the shooter, and that's when the shooter shot him.
Camera shows school resource officer Deputy Scott Peterson, along with 2 other workers, arriving on a golf cart outside of the 1200 building that afternoon.
I'm over on the south side, over by the 700 building.
I'll take a call from upstairs. He's upstairs now, he's upstairs.
Coach Feist went in the building and went to go up one of the stairwells, and as the shooter was coming down the stairwell, and I understood that he took a girl and kind of pushed her out of the door and got in front of the shooter, and that's when the shooter shot him. Two victims are outside, just outside the building.
Welcome to Brighteon.com.